Hey folks, and welcome back to the Leeds Gamer. I just thought I'd do a little video on Leeds' current number 9, our goal scoring striker Dominic Calvert-Lewin, also known as DCL. He made the month of December his own. It was a bit of a striker's dream for him, really. Scored umpteen goals and basically snapped up just about every award available for that month. So it's been announced officially on the Leeds United website, so I thought we'll just have a read through and we'll just acknowledge Dom's achievements for that month. There he is picking up the Premier League Player of the Month award. So it reads as follows. Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been named Premier League Player of the Month for December after a remarkable goal-scoring run for Leeds United. The striker finished the month outscoring everyone in the league, finding the net in 6 consecutive games, a streak he capped in dramatic fashion by finishing off a sweeping 12-pass move in the 1-1 draw with Sunderland. His goals proved hugely influential over the festive period. Calvert-Lewin scored in victories over Chelsea and Crystal Palace and was also on target in hard-fought draws against Liverpool, Brentford and Sunderland, helping Leeds build valuable momentum. The Premier League award is the 5th individual honour Calvert-Lewin has collected in December alone. He was earlier named the Leeds United Player of the Month and also claimed the club's Goal of the Month prize for his team-worked finish against Sunderland. In addition, he was voted the PFA Fans Player of the Month and received Sky Sports Fanalysis Award for his overall impact and efficiency in front of goal. The Premier League prize was decided by a fan vote, with Calvert-Lewin beating stiff competition from a star-studded shortlist including Hugo Ekitike, Phil Foden, Erling Haaland, Morgan Rogers, and Ollie Watkins and Harry Wilson. Calvert-Lewin now joins an illustrious list of former Leeds winners of the monthly prize, following in the footsteps of legends such as 2-time recipient Tony Yeboah, Paul Robinson, Robbie Keane, Alan Smith and Rio Ferdinand. I mean, at the end of the day, for a player to pick up 5 individual awards in 1 month is absolutely ridiculous. Hugely deserved. I mean, the team goal that Leeds scored against Sunderland, where every Leeds player on the pitch, got a touch of the ball. I mean, that'll go down as one of the goals of the season. Certainly in contention for the team goal of the season. As far as the Premier League's concerned. Dom has also scored a couple of his goals from headers. Very effective, very effective in the air is DCL. And one other quite popular feature of his goals at the moment is that when you look at his goal scoring heat graph, they're all bar about 1.5 pretty much in a straight line between the penalty spot and just in front of goal. It just basically shows that he's getting in all the right areas that you would want your number 9 to be in, and ultimately this is reaping rewards for Leeds United, going on an unbeaten streak throughout December and ultimately keeping Leeds out of that relegation zone. Before he started scoring regular, he'd only got 1 goal. He was getting chances, but he wasn't scoring them. And he has now just found this rich vein of form. And in the couple of games where he didn't score, one of them was a goal disallowed for offside, and the other attempt that got close was I believe he hit the woodwork. So he's a constant threat, and it's proving to be effective. Now I would absolutely love to see DCL and Lucas Metcha playing up front in a top two, because before Lucas's injury he was scoring goals as well. So if you put the two together and if you can get the service into these two fellas, they're going to get a lot of goals this season. And so, where does DCL go from here? This is only a very small snippet of the season, covering the month of December for the majority, but it is hopefully a sign of things to come. Leeds United face Fulham tomorrow, of which I have done a match preview, so do please check it out. And there's no doubt that DCL will be crucial to to getting Leeds some points on the board. Ultimately, he's in great form. There's a couple of other players around him, including this fella here, Brendan Aronson, who are in really good form. As I say, Metcha was in good form before his injury. Lucas looked very good against Derby actually in the cup match. So I think that if Daniel Farke can integrate Metcha and DCL up front again in some kind of formation, whether it be 4-4-2, 3-5-2, whatever the case, then I think we're onto something here. This is a statement situation for DCL, because this is basically putting him on course to have his most fruitful season of his career to date in terms of scoring goals. He had a couple of seasons when he was at Everton where he did quite well, but there's still half the season, well, just under half the season to go, and he's basically on track for getting around 17, 18 goals for the season, which would be absolutely excellent. The last striker that we had that was prolific in the Premier League was Pat Bamford. I think he got, what did he get? I think he got about 17 goals in his best season. So I think this is a season where Dom could potentially surpass that, if he can keep the form going and if he can keep his fitness up. There's another article here where Leeds United, their internal TV programme, LUTV, has interviewed him, and it says here, Dominic Calvert-Lewin has been presented with the Premier League Player of the Month award for December following his fine form in a Leeds United shirt. The striker scored 6 times during an impressive month for him personally and for the team, who went unbeaten to end a memorable memorial? What am I on about? Memorable sorry, year of 2025 in style. I need a brew. Speaking exclusively to LUTV, our number 9 reacted after being presented with the trophy by saying, "Yeah, I'm proud of this one. I think obviously it's been a great month, not only for me, but for the team as well, with the unbeaten run that we've been on. So obviously for that to be recognised across the league is a nice feeling. Again, just a proud moment for myself to achieve it, considering the amount of quality and talent that is in the Premier League at the moment. With his teammates showing their work hard around him," I think that's supposed to say hard work around him. So even professional websites can do a bit of a mishap. If we assume that it's supposed to say with his teammates showing their hard work around him, Calvert-Lewin continued scoring after the new year, most recently netting against Newcastle. He said staying consistent. He said staying consistent. I can't read, sorry. Well, tonight at least. He said staying consistent in his approach is key to his form. I think up until the last week of November, I think I had scored 1 goal. Now I have got 9, he reflected. So it's been a pretty good few weeks, and I think I've not really changed anything in terms of what I've been doing in training, or off the pitch. I've just stayed consistent and just kept working hard. It's always nice when it pays off. You're not wrong. It is nice when it pays off. But thoroughly well deserved as far as DCL is concerned. He's just got to keep it up. He's just got to keep scoring those goals. One of the reasons that Leeds have a chance of staying up this season is because we've got players that are scoring goals. Those teams down in the bottom are struggling. They're really struggling to score goals. Now that basically means that basically all they might get across the board could be draws because they're not scoring, so they're not getting goals to be able to win games. Whereas Leeds, they've got DCL, they've got Metcher, they've got Aronson. They're all heavily on the goal scoring chart at the moment. We've just brought in Buonanotte, who might have the potential to get involved in all of that as well. Might still bring in a striker for all we know. Difficult to tell, isn't it? It is the January transfer window at the end of the day. No, it's been a stellar month for DCL, and long may this continue into the future months. Bear in mind as well, he's still what, 28, 29, something like that. So he's got a couple more years yet. And ultimately, the whole premise of this is that Leeds stay in the division. And the way that you can stay in the division is if you've got a decent striker. Now, on the flip side of that, you need a defender that can stop these strikers. And we've got Yacobiol, who is putting these opponent number 9s in his pocket right now. So long may that continue. Makes you wonder how Dom feels when he has to go up against Yaka in training, doesn't it? But yeah, the squad feels like it's got a nice mix to it at this moment in time. There's players like Gabby Gudmundsson who's having a really good season. Bogle was looking good before he got injured. The back three are quite settled now, with Strout, Beal and Roden. Bornow did alright when he stepped in as well. Justin's done alright when he's stepped in. Ampadu's improving as a captain and as a midfield general now. Stack's getting better as the season goes on. Tanaka's shown flashes when he's come on. Gruev's been solid in front of the back five when he's been picked. Longstaff before his injury was looking alright. Even Lucas Perry, who's come under a lot of criticism, has shown moments of good goalkeeping. Aronson, look at the improvement he's made. It's fantastic to see. It really is. Makes watching Leeds a lot of fun, at times at least anyway. You take that Newcastle match for example. We were leading 3 times. And you look at how much they've spent on their squad. And we've gone toe to toe with them. At their bloody joint as well. I'm telling you. We have got a very good chance of staying up this season. And a lot of it's down to this fella. But again, the service that's coming into it. That cross from Nonto for one of Dom's headed goals was an absolute beauty. Couldn't have put it in a better position for DCL. And Will Nonto is a player who's not getting a lot of game time at the minute. But one hell of a substitute to bring on to be able to do that. Noah Okafor's shown glimpses of the quality he can bring to the table. I just feel like we're in a really good spot right now. Metcher, as I say before his injury, was scoring goals. And the great thing is now is that the squad is only one player away from being fully fit, and that's Dan James. Imagine what it's going to be like when he comes back from injury, with all that pace. You bring him on for the last 20-30 minutes or whatever, against a knackered defence, and he's bombing on past their knackered fullback, whipping crosses in for DCL or Metro or whoever's playing. Telling you folks, I think we're in a decent position right now. We've got a cushion of points above ourselves, well, above the relegation zone. I think we're still 8 points clear, and you know that's quite a few points, and the improved goal difference compared to the bottom bunch as well is almost like an extra point. So that's the equivalent of a 3-game swing. Leeds would have to go on a 3-game losing streak with the teams below them all winning 3 games in a row. That doesn't happen at the bottom usually. So if Leeds can keep chipping away with the points, if they can keep getting these wins and draws, this is why even getting draws when you're in the bottom quarter of the division is important, because you can still stretch away from that bottom 3 bit by bit. And as I say, a big part of why we're doing well is because of DCL getting these goals. So I'm really pleased for Dom. He said very early on, didn't he, in one of his early interviews, that he was happy to be back in Yorkshire again after he spent a long time in Merseyside. You know, he recognises that Yorkshire feel of things around the area. So I think it's working out for all parties. You know, DCL's closer to home again. He's playing for a team that's doing well. Got to give props to Daniel Farker as well. You know, he wanted to bring in DCL and Metcher, even though they were on free transfers. And what a good bit of business that is. You know, if Metcher can get up to 10 goals and if DCL can get close to 20, that's, you know, if the two of them combine get close to 30 goals between them, that's good going for a pair of free transfers, isn't it? Feeling quite positive, folks, as far as Leeds United are concerned. So let's see how we do against Fulham. That won't be an easy test. As I say, check out my match preview for that one. We'll go through the details of who I think might play for Leeds and who I think might play for Fulham. Fulham are missing some players. They've got 3 Nigerians away on international duty for the AFCON, and they've got about another 3 players injured. So they're going to have to use some backups to fill those voids. We will have to keep Wilson quiet, but I think if we keep Wilson quiet, when you compare Jimenez to the other number 9s that Yacabiol's faced, I don't see any reason why Yaka can't get the better of the Mexican. I don't think he's been the same player since he got that serious head injury. And as I say, if Gabby Goodmanson can keep Harry Wilson quiet, if we assume that Wilson will attack on the right hand side, he'll be up against one of the best left backs, certainly in the bottom half of the division, if not the entire division. Should be an interesting battle, that one. Looking forward to it. And I just, you know, like so many recent performances, I just want Leeds to play well, because when they play well, there's a good chance of getting a result. Very unlucky to not get something against Newcastle. The one thing that I really want Leeds to do is to tighten things up after the 90th minute. We've gone 8 games where we've conceded goals after the 90th minute, and that's not good. That's my only criticism of this season so far. We would have had so many more points on the board if we just stayed more solid for that final few minutes of a match. However, it's first time in Premier League for some of these players. It takes a season to adjust, doesn't it? So let's see how we go. But I'm going to leave it there, folks. Do please hit the like button. Do please hype the video. Also subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, please turn on your notifications. Hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any future content. Hopefully going to be doing a live stream with some video game content over the weekend. I'll also do a match review of Leeds versus Fulham. Hopefully talking about 3 more points and getting 3 more points closer to the survival mark, which is what we want. We just want to get to that 40 points mark as quickly as we can. 10 wins, 10 draws, happy days, pressure's off at that point. I saw the podcast that Lineker, Shearer and Richards do, and they were reviewing their early predictions, and they've all come to the conclusion that they don't reckon Leeds will get relegated, and Lineker went as far as saying that if they reach 30 points they'll be safe, let alone 40. But I'd like to see us get 40 just to be on that safe side. Anyway, leave it there folks. Big thank you for watching. See you next time. Bye for now.